The Call of Duty Vanguard beta sucked. It sucked. It was a terrible experience. I had no fun whatsoever. It was bad. It was absolutely terrible. Now, mind you, I played the beta on the PlayStation 4, last gen hardware, so that may be a factor. That may be a factor. So I don't know what it looks like on current gen or on a PC. It might look great, but on the PlayStation 4, which I know a lot of people are going to be playing on, or like at least last generation hardware if you're playing on console, it did not look good. But before I get into the negatives, the negative experience I had with the beta, I'm going to talk about some things that I thought were pretty decent. The guns feel pretty good. They're satisfying to shoot. That's it. The damage filter that they had from the Champion Hill Alpha, they reduced that quite a bit, which was really good because that damage filter was atrocious. It messed up your visibility a lot, and you couldn't see anything whatsoever. So I'm happy they actually reduced that. The visibility's still ass, though. And speaking of Champion Hill, that's a decent mode. That's actually a pretty fun mode to me. So I'm glad that they put this in the beta because the multiplayer itself is bad. It sucks. And with no segue whatsoever, I'm just gonna lead into the negatives that I had with it. It looks bad. It doesn't look good at all. It could be a last gen hardware issue, but it looked really blurry. The textures were really sort of jarring to look at. Like, even the grass. Like, some points in the negatives will be a little bit nitpicky, but even stuff like the grass looked like something you'd see on a PlayStation 2. The character models didn't look good. Everybody looks the same. So you couldn't tell who your enemies are. You couldn't tell who your teammates are. Did I say blurry? It's blurry. Visibility is just bad overall. The sound design, I don't know what they did from the alpha, but I couldn't hear any footsteps at all. Like, you could hear footsteps in the alpha, but even then it was still pretty quiet. But in the beta, they reduced the volume quite a bit, which was weird. Everything sounded like you threw on earmuffs and you're swimming through a fish tank. Everything was really muddled. Footsteps were almost non-existent to me. I don't know what they did with the sound. If somebody was shooting a gun right beside you in the game, it sounded like they were 80 yards away. I don't really know how far that is, to be honest, but it seems pretty far to me. But it sounds like they were pretty far away, even though they're shooting right beside you. So I don't know what the fuck was up with that. Mounting and destructible environments, pointless. I don't know why they put that back in this game. Especially coming after Cold War. Now look, I don't like Cold War. I had a bad time with Cold War, but I can appreciate the faster gameplay and the lack of doors and no mounting that it had in that game, and the slightly decent maps it had. And the maps in the beta, in the Vanguard beta, are absolutely shit. But anyways, moving on. The spawns. I'm pretty sure a lot of people experience this, where like if you die, you'll spawn on top of somebody or spawn right beside an enemy. I spawned on Red Star beside 8 people from the enemy team, and they just took me out. I don't know what is up with the spawn system in Vanguard, but it was absolutely terrible. You'll spawn most of the time either on top of someone or at least pretty close by, and you'll have no time to react. The characters don't shut up. For some reason, everybody is constantly talking. The narrator is extremely annoying. And, like, even though he doesn't shut up, for some reason, he doesn't call enemy, like, kill streaks. Which is weird to me. It's baffling. But yeah, he doesn't shut up. Every time you hear him, he's just, bloodthirsty, double kill. And I don't know how many times I have to hear this from the characters on the field, but I can, like, if I hear I'm being pinned or some variation of that one more time, I'm gonna go absolutely mad. That's a nitpick. That could be a nitpick, but I thought it was extremely annoying. Visibility was not good. The character models blended in with the environment. Maybe because they're wearing brown and everything in the map is like brown or gray. or everything was just blurry. But the destructible environments, back to that point, when you shoot through them, it gets in the way of who you're trying to shoot at, and then you lose track of them. Just the visibility overall when you're in the gunfights were pretty brutal. I don't know what it was that they did with the weapons, the muzzle flash, and the smoke. It obstructs your vision quite a bit. The maps are terrible. Out of the, I think they had 4 maps, I believe. I liked Eagle's Nest, but that's not really saying much. Red Star is terrible. It is a shitty map. The ground level of that map itself, you could make its own map. The buildings are completely unnecessary. It just encourages more camping. Every single match I played in the beta went to the time limit, which is unreal because there are different pacing modes. So like you have 6v6, like 8v8 or something, and like 24v24. And even 24v24, the match went to the time limit. I don't know, like it's bad. That's bad. I don't like that. Champion Hill somehow plays better than the actual multiplayer. There's actually a difference with how the Champion Hill Alpha plays, Champion Hill Alpha, how Champion Hill plays, at least to me. The time to kill was way too fast. Like in Modern Warfare 2019, time to kill was already fast enough, but somehow in this game, you'll get one tap and you'll go down really quickly. I don't know what it is, but it's really fast in the Vanguard beta. The pacing styles, like I said, even though you throw a 24v24 on the map, everyone's just gonna end up camping because there's so many people on the map, and the map is already so big, and there's so many safe spaces on the map that everyone can hide in, that everyone just doesn't move, or just crawling around, or just aiming down the lanes, or aiming out the windows, especially if you're playing on red ass. The movement feels worse than Modern Warfare, and I don't know how they accomplished that. Modern Warfare, the movement was already pretty sluggish, but in this game, it's sluggish and it's really clunky. I don't know what they did with the movement in the Vanguard beta, but they gotta change that, because that movement really messed up, like, how I moved around the maps and when I got into gunfights. I had constant lag spikes, but I don't know if that's just me personally. If you had some issues with the lag spikes, let me know. The radar perk is completely unnecessary. If you have the radar perk, you can see red dots on the minimap if the enemy team is shooting unsuppressed weapons. You don't need a perk for that, personally. Like, if somebody's shooting on the minimap, you should see it, in my opinion. Like, you don't need to fill up a perk space for that. There's other perks that you can put in that space, but I don't know. And I also had like a delay with when I shot my weapon. So when I aimed down sight, there was like a quick, like a 1 second delay or something before I shot, and it really messed up my flow with the gunfights. I don't know if anyone else experienced that, but even when I was hip firing, like there was like a 1 second delay before I actually shot, which was really jarring to me. But also, let me end it off on this note. I'm gonna put this image up. I'm not gonna put the actual clip that I recorded with this because it could be actually pretty triggering. I'm not gonna lie, when this happened to me, when I was playing the beta, I actually had to stop because it hurt my eyes. So this is what I saw when I was, like, the transition screen before you respawn into the match. This is what I saw. But, like, take this image, this nonsense that you see here, and imagine it, like, just flashing on your screen at different points really rapidly. That's what happened to me in the beta. It wasn't just this one time, too. Like, when I was playing on Red Ass, there were instances where there was like light flashes on the screen, constant light flashes, and also on Hotel Royal, the textures and the environment did not look good. I experienced that flashing pattern nonsense like 3 times playing on Hotel Royal. But honestly, if that's what you have to offer in the beta, and if that's what the game is going to look like on last gen hardware, it shouldn't be released, because that's really, really atrocious. That's really, really bad. That's a bad look. And it could actually honestly hurt some people. Like I said, it hurt my eyes, and I had to stop playing for a couple of minutes because it was really, really shocking to me. But yeah, those are my critiques of the Call of Duty Vanguard beta. If it sounded like I was bitching, maybe I was, but honestly, like, the experience itself was not good. So if you experienced it differently, if you had a fun time with it, good job. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you had some fun in the beta, but for me personally, it wasn't fun at all. So if you felt otherwise, or if you felt the same way, let me know down in the comments. Like it if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, but just don't be a dick about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am CDpanda, and I will see you next time.